What's up, scale modelers and Siren enthusiasts? Welcome to day 2 and part 2 of day 2 of Siren Week here on the channel. Yes, I actually released 2 videos for the second day of Siren Week. Reason why I did that was because, well, I had enough sirens to talk about to justify doing 2 videos in one day. And today was the first Tuesday of the month here in Illinois. And for those of you who don't know, that's when all of the outdoor warning sirens here in the state are tested at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. depending on where you are. So I guess there's that connection with the sirens. Anywho, today I'll be discussing the infamous, or the, I guess, famous HO scale HOR Super Sirex. Now, for those of you wondering that I've already talked about the siren so many times back in 2020 and 2021, why am I making another video about it? Well, you guys haven't seen this specific example. You guys have seen other ones that I've put on buildings and stuff, but I never really gave any camera time to this one, and this one has actually been really useful in projects that followed after it, so I'll explain why shortly. I'll just get that started now. So, for a bit of context, I built the first HO scale Super Sirex in mid-2020. I want to say it was in the summer of 2020. I think it was in May of 2020, if my memory serves correctly. And I built that one, I put it on a building, and I thought that would be the end, since the HOR Super Sirex has been one of my favorite sirens for about 4 years now. And while it's fallen kind of out of favor, it's still one of my favorites up there, and I will always like it as a siren. Anywho, then rolls around a few months later, in September of 2020, I decided to build another one. And this one was more of a test example for future reference. And the reason for that was because this was the first one where I built a shroud for it. And the shroud is this top part here. And originally I didn't think that was going to work. However, it actually worked pretty well for being HO scale and made out of paper. By the way, these models are made out of paper and plastic. I'll show you which specific parts are paper and plastic later. And this one was more of a test unit for that. It was also the second time I built one of these little truss structures, which is extremely hard to build. I cannot express enough how annoying it is to build them out of paper and tape, but I ended up getting that done. But the main focus for this one was this maintenance tower that it's sitting on. And this maintenance tower, it's actually based off of one that exists here in Chicago, or not here in Chicago, but here, or yeah, pretty much here in Chicago. Back in the Cold War, Chicago installed a bunch of different air raid sirens for their civil defense system, and they had 5 of these Super Sirex ones. And one of them, the very first one actually, was mounted on one of these maintenance towers, due to the fact that the building it was mounted on would prove to be too obstructive of the sound, so they put it higher up on the building with this maintenance tower, put it on the roof, and it worked from there. And they ended up leaving it on the building, and it's still there to this day, except all that's left is this, just the tower, the rotator, and the truss, and of course the maintenance tower. So that's that. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because eventually I wanted to get a huge building and to put this on, but I never did. The building that I did end up getting, I decided to go with a different mount, and that still remains the largest scale model I've ever built, and you can find the video for that somewhere on my channel as well. I built that in March of 2021, so if you want to go looking, that's probably the date range you should go looking for. Anyway, now time to cover the main composition of this siren. So it's mostly paper. The horns are paper, the shroud here is paper, the truss is paper, most of the rotation assembly is paper, except for this box here and this little stub here. This one's made out of brass because I had a few brass pipes to mess with, so that's what I did. But the outer part of this rotator motor is paper. This is a polystyrene plastic element. The motor itself for the siren is plastic. The motor support is paper. The rotation turntable is plastic, and the choppers are also plastic. So it's a good mix of plastic and paper, and I think it went together pretty well. For the maintenance tower itself, it's pretty much all plastic, or yeah, it's all plastic except for the mesh part here, the nylon tool here. And I cannot emphasize enough how annoying this was to build and how annoying it's been to maintain, because if you do as much as look at the maintenance tower in the wrong way, don't try it because it's probably going to break on video. It'll break. And while it's really hard to fix, I've had to fix it at least 5 times in the recent months because I'm very clumsy and I break it sometimes. But that's why I ended up building this to test if it was durable enough, and it ended up not being durable enough, so that's why I didn't mass produce it or anything. But it's still cool nonetheless. These little plastic parts, those are guardrails for anyone who's walking up here to maintain the Siren so they don't fall over and hurt themselves. This, as I said earlier, it's just nylon tulle, very fine mesh. The base here, this is polystyrene plastic. The cross here is also polystyrene plastic. And the pole itself, it's actually Lego. And the reason why I chose Lego is because that was really durable, and I think it was the only rod that I had long enough to support this and make it look accurate as well. So that was the assembly process of it. It was pretty hectic. It took me a few days, but I'm pretty proud of it. I think I did a decent job, and it's just been sitting there in my basement watching over my workbench while I work on other model kits. And I ended up using this one as a reference for the 10 production models that I made for the public, and yeah, I drew inspiration from this. I also used it to get an idea of what kind of mount I wanted to do for the one that I built in 2021 for the Super Sirex mount I did in 2021. So it's helped me finish a few other models. However, it's never become a full diorama of itself, and it never got any camera time. So that's why I'm showing it to you guys now. Well, that concludes the video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys are having fun so far. I know for sure that I'm having fun making these videos for Siren Week. Be sure to go watch the videos for the first day of Siren Week and for the first part of the second day of Siren Week. Make sure you go watch those, and stay tuned for tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and I hope you guys watch every other video for Siren Week. See you guys later.